Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of ESPN going on today, man. There's this story. There's ESPN on ESPN Crime that happened today. It's shocking. This doesn't usually happen. By a guy named Dan Murphy, ESPN staff writer. No offense to Dan Murphy. I had never heard of him.
Yep.
Never heard of him.
Shouts to him, though.
Yeah, he was great on the Mets, Daniel Murphy. But now that's right. It was Dan Murphy.
Yeah,
remember
Daniel Murphy.
Yeah.
Nice little white boy. He was good.
Yeah, he had like that kind of swing where you didn't expect any power from it, but it seemed like he was pretty good. Anyway, breaks this story aimed square at Kendrick Perkins, obviously on NBA, ESPN, all the time, called New NIL Company Raises Red Flags for Consumer Finance Experts, which is just kind of a funny headline, I guess. And I don't know what's behind this, Waz. I don't know what's behind it. Apparently, Kendrick Perkins is getting in this whole name, image, likeness gold rush at the college level. And I'm reading from the article, the company, NIL, offers athletes upfront payments ranging from $25,000 into the hundreds of thousands, said Perkins and his co-founder, Wall Street veteran Chris Ricciardi. That is a Northeastern name / Italian name. In return, NIL gets the exclusive rights to use or sell the athlete's name, image, and likeness for up to 7 years. And the company and its investors receive between 10% and 50% of the player's NIL earnings during that time period. And this is all presented like it's this very scary scandal. And I read through it and I came to the conclusion that, look, I don't know what Perk's involved in. I don't think if my kid was a top athlete, I would have him take a NIL upfront payment in exchange for the percentage earnings. Kendrick Perkins is always involved in some kind of weird business. He's selling French bulldogs on the side. That's not a joke. He's quite entrepreneurial in very idiosyncratic ways, and this is one of them. But it was just so funny to me, was because I kind of went, where's the beef? I don't understand what the big deal is. If maybe it's not the best deal, but it was all this like a young and impressionable kid, they're signing this deal and they don't even know what they're giving up. They might be giving up 10 to 50%. And I'm looking at the whole thing, and I'm going, it sounds like a better deal than college itself, where they just give you this loan and they expect you to pay it back and they're not on the hook for it. And they don't even bother to teach you anything because it doesn't matter. They got the money and it's like this at least they give you some money up front and you don't have to pay them back a bunch of money. They just get a cut of it. Or am I missing something here? What did you think?
Yeah, I think what you're missing is what it says more broadly about the system of college athletics right now. Just the fact that the schools and the conferences as proxies don't have to pay the players directly for the money that the players are actually generating via these TV deals, ticket sales, et cetera, right? And so because they're not being paid directly from the main source of revenue in college sports, which is those big-ass TV contracts, because the players don't get a red cent of it, they have to go out and the only way to coop any money are these ancillary sort of peripheral kind of deals, and those deals can be kind of exploitative. Like that's like Kendrick Perkins and them is exploiting these kids. They are. The idea that you would take 50% of these kids' earnings for the next 7 years. This is like 50% is nuts, right? And so like and especially like if you don't come from a crazy amount of means and somebody just says, yo, here's $150K right now, and then they get to coup 40% of your Dove deodorant deal, when you're 3 years into your NFL career. Like, I think they're exploiting these kids for sure. I think the main problem is that the kids are getting pushed into this unregulated, nobody's watching system in NIL, and they're being ripe for these kinds of deals. Like, just imagine if like we think about all the NBA players who have been ripped off by money managers, and this guy has this business deal and that one. Like, think about if the only way for them to go out and get money for themselves was out in that world, and there wasn't this structure by which they got a fixed salary and they got their health insurance and they got the pension, and there wasn't that fixed thing. They just had to go out and get money around it while the owners and everybody else just continued to cash in, so that Alabama can have they have like 100 people on staff for the football team. Like, I think that's what the story is speaking to. I think if this writer would have like made that a bigger thing about why the NCAA system is fucked up, then cool. But like what you're saying is like Kendrick Perkins and them are just doing payday loans. It's legal. It's messed up. People that have like great opportunities tend to not take out payday loans. But I mean, it's a business. This is America.
I don't know if I go as far as payday loans, because the payday loan you've got to pay back in full. And in this instance, you're given a cut if you keep making money because your stardom is increasing. But I understand the principle. I'll read a paragraph about this. To me, it feels like you are preying on people who need the capital now and using that to cloud their focus on the future, said Michael Haddix Jr., whose company Scout provides financial education seminars to college athletic departments. It feels predatory, and it's capitalizing on young people who need money and haven't thought through the long-term implications. I think that's all very fair, and it's similar to what you're saying. It's just funny to me that you could just apply this principle to college itself, which is a bigger topic. 100%. Which is a bigger topic. But 100%. I mean, it's sort of funny, this idea that, look, this is just wrong to have a teenager on the hook for some big money deal because it's expedient. This is wrong. And meanwhile, this is just how things are done. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, you could be a poetry major, and we'll give you the $100,000 right up front.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans that people graduate, which is just criminal, man. To be 22 years old and have $120,000 in student loan debt. That's nuts. Like, one of my buddies went to law school. It's like $200-something thousand. That's insane to educate yourself. So yeah, your point is taken. I just think
that's a bigger I don't expect ESPN to get into all of that. I'm smiling at the maybe it's not the irony, but this sort of the idea that just on the face of it, this is a moral outrage. And I go, well, then the entire edifice is just completely morally outrageous. And this is maybe preferable because you're not on the hook. Now, I think if you're arguing it from the Perk perspective, this isn't payday loans. This is seed investing. This is the tech world. This is Perk Andreessen over here investing in you, investing in you, investing in you. And hey, most of you guys are not going to hockey stick. You're not going to pop. This is just, you're lucky. You're getting $50K up front and you're going to be a nobody. But we're looking for that Ryan Williams type where it's just going to go all of a sudden and boom, we've got you for 7 years. And I would say this to that. I'm going to call this principle, look, because I know people think like contracts, ironclad, you sign a contract, boom, it's all done. What's weird in entertainment is this principle that I'm going to call when you're hot, you're hot. When you're hot, the contracts can be renegotiated. It's a funny thing they don't tell you. They don't tell you that. But when you're hot, when you're a big mover, when you're an absolute superstar, maybe Perk's got you on this 7-year deal for 40%, but you go to Perk and you go, dude, I'm the biggest star in college basketball. I'm not putting any energy behind your products or any of this until we renegotiate. So maybe the mid-tier guy gets screwed on the 7 years. I don't know. But I think the people at the upper bound of it, I know they want to advertise this, but they can. I'm just giving advice. If you listening right now are a future superstar collegiate athlete, just know maybe hit Perk up for a quick payday loan, and then maybe hit him up when you feel like it's not worth your while. Just putting that out there.
I just, to me, man, like the ethics of this is like whatever to me. Like you said, like if somebody actually does pop, they can go out and be like perking them, like, yo, yeah, we got you on a eat what you kill basis. You not kill. I'm killing everything myself, so I don't have to pay you, right? Like you're not bringing these deals in, like whatever. I can do all of this on my own. Vamos. Like let's just say like the kid is like about to sign a deal with Nike because he's one of the biggest athletes. Like I'm talking to Nike directly. Like there's nothing you could do about this, right? Like there's literally nothing you could do about it, right? Yeah. What I'm interested in too is because so many people in my life work in the music industry, and like that's one of the most exploitative industry that there is. But like almost every artist's main goal is to one day sign an artist who they then can exploit themselves. Yeah. Right. Like you go from being the exploited artist to like, it's like, no, I'm gonna do my own imprint. Now I'm going to sign artists and exploit them. And then so on. And then it keeps going on and on and on. That's what this reminds me of. Like you go from being the person who's, toil, earned all this money for whatever, this league or this whatever other thing. And then now like the ultimate, like I made is like, I'm now doing that to other people. It's hilarious how the system works in that way.
Well, it's funny. Music is the exception to the when you're hot rule. Music goes, oh, Taylor Swift, you want your rights back? Oh, that's
it's
funny.
It's never happening.
That's funny. Well, good luck. See you in court. We'll figure it out. We'll hash it out over a few years because music's this strange thing where we've captured your voice. We have captured it in a bottle. And that's the main product you have, and so we don't care if you don't like it or you think it's exploitative. I mean,
and I think in music there is man, in music is crazy. I think it's after 30 years, basically they have to give you back shit like your publishing and all of that stuff. But like it's 30 years that if somebody signed you and they took you, and when they signed you, they was like, I have a right to your publishing. Like they get to keep your pub for 30 years. It's just a wild system. And again, that's what this reminds me of, man. The people that used to get exploited are now doing the exploiting.
Well, Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog rights back in the day, right? And that was something he could pull off. And yeah, the music industry is like that. Sports, the NIL, I think there's this aspect where for whatever reason, the athlete is more of an advertiser spokesperson, that they have a little bit more leverage than the musician does. And it's orchestrated differently. You can break a contract, you can get out of it, you can renegotiate in theory if you want to do that. But music is just, that's different. But yeah, they made the music analogy in the article. And I think there's something to it. I just think it's really funny, though, that the way it's set up, it's like, hey, when you're on the floor and playing a lot, you're being exploited. But when you get benched, I'm being exploited. And that's how it's... Pay this guy $100,000
for
7 minutes a game.